Hello, Mr. Fries, Algebra 1B, taking a look at this assignment for March 11th. This is going to be due tomorrow, the 12th, on a Friday. We're graphing linear inequalities, and let me take you through quite a few of these as I see many of you need a great deal of help in that class. Taking a look at this problem right here. This is in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So basically, you know, y is by itself on one side of this inequality. So even if it's not equals, if we have an inequality there, this is still going to be the form that we want it in. So this is ready to go. So I look back here, this is still my y-intercept. My y-axis is right here. This is my x-axis. So that's the y-axis. So I go to -5. So from the origin, I count down 5 and I put a point. If it was a +5, I would go up 5. This is a -5. Now, my slope is 1/3, so I'm going up 1/3 from this point. So I go up 1/3 and I put another point. Up 1/3 and I put another point, and so on. And I could get the points from behind it too. So from this point, up 1/3, I get to my y-intercept of -5. You know, and then from this point, I go up 1/3 to get to that point, and so on. So I can get I could get a full line all the way across. Okay, so that's a nice straight line. This is a dotted line because what's on the line cannot equal it. So if I were to pick a point that's on this line and I substitute those x and y values for that point in this equation, if it's on the line, it wouldn't be greater than, it would be equal to. It doesn't have that little line there, so it's got to be dotted line, okay? Signifying that stuff on this line, points on this line, will not satisfy this inequality. It has to be everything greater than. So any point here, so if I picked like this point right here, which is 1, 2, 3. If I pick this point, it's 3, 2. And I put in a 3 for x and a 2 for y. And I were to solve this, that y would be greater than 1/3 of 2 minus 5. Okay, it's just any point out here that I pick, just random points, it will satisfy this equation. That's what this all means. Let's take a look at number 3. I want you to do 2 on your own. It's already in the form of the y-intercept and the slope. So you have the slope-intercept form there. So remember, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. Go ahead and graph that out. For number 3, you do have to change this to y-intercept form. So I have to get my y by itself, and you can see me doing that. I subtracted 5x from both sides, and then I divided both sides by a -2 in order to get y by itself. When you divide by a negative, multiplying or dividing by a negative with inequalities, you're going to flip the sign. So the sign needs to be flipped. So it ends up being y is less than 5/2, because I had -5 divided by a -2 gave me a positive 5/2. And then I'm going to have 12 divided by -2. 12 divided by -2 is -6. All right, so that gives me this graph right here, because I go to -6 on the y-intercept, and I'm going up 5/2. So I go up 5/2, up 5/2, up 5/2, and so on. It's a dotted line because it can't equal it. It can't equal anything on this line, but it's everything y is less than. So just take a look at your y-axis, and less than this point would be down here. So it's everything below the line. I did number 4 also, just because it looked like a lot of you in class were distracted, and I think we need to see this. So I'm going to walk you through number 4 also. I want to get my y by itself first. I want to get it into slope-intercept form. So I am going to subtract x from both sides. And then I'm going to divide by a negative 4. I divided by a negative, so I flipped the sign, and a negative over a negative is going to become a positive. So I have 1 over 4. This was 1x here, so 1 divided by 4. And a positive 8 divided by a negative 4 is going to give me a negative 2. So that is my y-intercept. So I start at negative 2 on the y-axis. And then I go up 1 over 4, up 1 over 4, and I figure out what the back ones would be to make a nice straight line. It's going to be a dotted line because it's greater than. Y greater than, so I go to my y, everything greater than that line is going to be shaded. For number 5, we had marked in class, some of you got it, some of you were not getting it, I don't know why, but you know, solid, and what would be solid, Mr. Fry did a great, had great help for you figuring out, which one's going to be solid, which one's going to be dotted. So that's what the solid and dotted stuff is over on the side. Let's go with getting y by itself first. So I got to change this into a slope-intercept form kind of equation. I got to get y by itself. So I subtract x from both sides. And then I'm going to divide everything by a negative 1 so that I can get this just y, not negative y. In dividing by a negative 1, this changes from a greater than to a less than. And so I have y is less than or equal to x minus 8. That's going to be a dotted line. So I go to my y-intercept of negative 8. And my slope is a 1 because it's just 1x here. And it's up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and so on and so forth. So I just make my line there. Y is less than that, so it's going to be everything below this line, less than. Remember, this is your y-axis, and if I was to look at this line where it's crossing the y-axis, y needs to be less than it, so everything below, anything less than this point is down. Number 6, I got to get this one into slope-intercept form, and I do that for you here. I don't have a y-intercept. Whenever you don't have a y-intercept, that means that the y-intercept is 0. I just didn't write the 0 back here. 0 means when your y is at 0. Y is at 0 right here at the origin. Okay, this would be plus 1, this would be negative 1, this one's 0. Okay, and then I just subtracted 3x from both sides and then divided by 2. So it's going to be y, and notice, this is negative over here. I realize I did not divide by a negative 2. I just divided by a 2, so that's why the sign stays the same. So I have negative 3 over 2. So I'm going down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, and so on. Okay, it's a dotted line because it can't equal it. It's less than it. Okay, and I shade everything below that line. For number 7, y is less than or equal to negative 4. So I go to negative 4 on the y-axis. Remember, this is the y-axis. And it's going to be, no matter what x equals ever, it's going to always be negative 4. So it's just this is a horizontal line. This is a no slope, okay? So y can equal negative 4 and everything less than negative 4. So we just shade everything below y is negative 4. You're going to kind of do the same thing for number 8, but x is greater than 7, so you're going to have a vertical. This is going to be a vertical line, if I could help you at all with this one. And you're going to go to where x is 7. X is 7, somewhere over here. You're going to put a dot, you're going to put a vertical line, and then you're going to have a dotted vertical line, I should say, because x is greater than 7. It can't equal 7. And then you're going to shade where x, everything is greater than, so you're going to shade everything that side of the line that you put there at x equals 7, or is greater than 7. All right, hopefully this helped, and good luck on the ones that you're doing more on your own. Not too much here.